Welcome back to another episode of Your Effective Life, where we talk about all things work, school, and lifestyle related so that you can live the life that you want. Today, we're going to be talking about students and what we get wrong going into college. So there are 5 mistakes that can derail your education and make you look a lot worse than maybe how you actually are. Mistake number 1, students think that their teachers are there to help them. Now, a lot of teachers are there to help, and a lot of them will say that they are there to help. But at the bottom line, the teachers are there to do research. They're there to publish papers, make an impact in their field. And they have to teach as part of that job. So they want to help you, and oftentimes they think that they are. What students need to do, what I have done, is figure out a way to learn by yourself. And when you do that, then you become independent of the teacher. One of my classes is called Linear Algebra and Differential Equations. And we had, as PhD professor, he would record a lecture every week, but then the homeworks were vastly different from what he was talking about in the lecture. So what do? You can either just go off what the teacher says and get a C, or you can fill in those gaps and get an A. So what I did was I read the textbook. I know no one likes to read them, but sometimes it's the only way that you're going to learn the stuff that you have to. One of the biggest gaps for a textbook is that each line has so many words that can be very difficult to understand. The strategy for reading textbooks is you take a line and you don't read the next line until you understand every single part of that line. So you look up all the definitions you need to, you find examples. Once you understand completely that one line, move on to the next line, and then move on to the next line. And over time, you actually build up a much better understanding of the topic and the subjects that are involved in it. Don't think your professor there is to help you. You are there to help yourself. Another thing that students get wrong is that we tend to think that we are smarter than we actually are. And this isn't exclusive to students. Everyone in the world thinks that they are smarter than they are. But the law of averages, as we know, says that everyone is going to fall on that spectrum, and most people are going to be average. So don't overinflate how smart you are, and don't overinflate how good you think you are at a topic. A lot of times, this is what prevents you from learning more, is that you think that you already know a given topic better than anyone else. And this prevents you from gaining a further depth of knowledge or hearing it from a different perspective. Another mistake students make is that they underestimate the amount of time that they think things are going to take. This basically stems from the previous mistake where you overestimate how smart you are. Because of that, you underestimate how long things take because you think you'll work faster than the average person. So the way you combat this is every assignment you're given, start on it the day you're given. You don't do the whole thing, but just start on it. And then that way you're able to start building some momentum towards it rather than just starting a day or two before an assignment is due. The 4th mistake that students make is thinking that they're going to be able to catch up next week. We all have this tendency, I've done this too, where I think, I got that assignment, but I'm going to be gone. I want to go on this trip with my friends. I'll just catch up next week. But most of the time, you can't. School is a constant flow of information, and it's not a steady flow. There tends to be really busy times and then less busy times. I guarantee you every time you leave is right when one of those busy times is going to happen. So avoid missing class. Don't spend all of your time working on things that are due tomorrow. Spend all of your time working on things that are due in 2 weeks. There's really no difference in the amount of work that you do if you start working on something 2 weeks before it's due or start working on something 2 days before it's due. The difference is your overall peace of mind. The 5th thing that students get wrong is that they go to office hours expecting the professor to walk them through a problem. This isn't high school. In high school, you could show up and the teacher would carefully walk you through every step. They'd reteach you all the different parts of the lecture. But in college, that's just not going to happen. The greatest thing you can do in a new job or a class or in a group project is to put forth effort. Effort is a universal currency that everyone respects. So when you put in effort into working on an assignment and you show the things that you tried, what your specific questions are, it's much easier to help you as a professor or as a TA, as opposed to someone who just shows up and says, help me. I have no idea what's going on. Those people are very annoying, and don't be one of them. There you go. So don't overestimate how smart you are. Don't underestimate how long things take. Make sure you're always putting in effort into all of your assignments and your questions that you ask. And if you do those things, you're going to come across as a much more competent, intelligent, and hardworking student. And I've used these strategies to build up great relationships with all of my professors, as well as been able to produce high quality work consistently. If you want to see more tips for students, I'll put a playlist right here, and then I'll let YouTube recommend another video up here. Stay effective and leave a like on your way out. So, don't think you're